What is up, YouTube world? It's Jay Coffee Talk back again with another one for you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, any new viewers out there. But I want to get right into this. I don't know if you guys have seen the HBO documentary Storm Over Brooklyn. That is about the killing of Yusuf Hawkins back in 1989 in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Very sad story. Yusuf was only 16 years old. And, basically what happened was him and, some friends went to Bensonhurst, Brooklyn to check out a used car. One of his friends had seen a used car ad in the paper in Bensonhurst and, went there. They traveled there to check out the car. Now, at the same time in Bensonhurst, there was a girl, who was a local. And, it's disputed. Her claims, were that people within the neighborhood, had told her that because she had let them know that she planned to invite some black friends to her birthday party. The locals claim that she threatened them and said that, her black friends were going to come because there was like some kind of beef, that they were going to come to her party and, beat these dudes up, the locals, you know what I mean? So when Yusuf and his friends ended up traveling to Bensonhurst to look at the car, they thought that this was her friends that were coming to attack her, were her claims. Now she, when it went to court, claimed that she never threatened anyone, that they just simply were telling her, we're not going to stand for you having, black people come to the neighborhood to your party, whether they're your friends or not, we're not going to stand for it. So at the same time, when Yusuf and his friends showed up to, try to find this car to check out that was for sale, these, all these kids who were out in the neighborhood formed a mob. They saw them and, claimed that they believed that they were there to attack them and ended up surrounding them, like 20 to 30 people with weapons, bats, all that. And, they were attacked and Yusuf was shot right in the heart and killed. Like I said, very tragic, sad story. A murder with a racist motive. You know what I mean? A racial killing. Now, if you guys have seen this documentary or you're, just familiar with the case, tap in the comments with your guys' thoughts on the case and the documentary, etc. But there was some stuff that I wanted to go over about this. Now, multiple people were tried for his murder, but all in all, only 2 people really got hit with like real heavy time. Joseph Fama, who actually speaks in the documentary, was given 32 1/3 years to life. He isn't eligible for parole until 2022. He claims to this day he's not the shooter. Of the different people that were interviewed, people talked about, witnessing what went on, or if not flat out witnessing the crime, being out there that night, hanging out in the park, and just kind of the word being out in the neighborhood that, this girl was having these friends over, and, that like the word was just out that there was going to be a beef. And like I said, the girl claims she just wanted to have friends over. People in the neighborhood say that there was a threat out there. Once again, that's debated. But the Joey Fama guy that got the 32 1/3 years to life claims, he wasn't actually a part of it, but he was tried and convicted. Now, something that I wanted to speak about, that was mentioned in the documentary, was that Sammy the Bull Gravano, back then during this time, he was still a certified gangster. You know what I mean? He wasn't a snitch yet or anything like that. He ends up holding a meeting in the neighborhood because after the crime happened, and the investigation was going on, tensions were high. The Reverend Al Sharpton was leading marches through Bensonhurst, and they were calling for justice. And, it's just wild when you watch the documentary and see this footage. I talk about on this channel all the time that I'm from New York. I'm not from New York City, But it's just wild to know that racial tensions were this high in New York. You know what I mean? In New York City. As I stated, I'm from New York. And I've always, like, where I come from, I feel like people have always generally got along pretty well. And it's just kind of, you know, crazy to see the tensions that were going on at this time. But, you know, it was a flat out racist murder. It really was. You know, a 16-year-old kid was killed, and it was 100%, you know, a racist murder. Now, what I wanted to point out, though, about Sammy the Bull was when, you know, people were calling for justice and everything like that, and the marches were going on, Sammy the Bull organized a meeting. And like I said, at this time, he's still considered a gangster. He's not a snitch. He's a made man and all that. And he basically, you know, I believe a couple people were arrested at this time, but they didn't have the actual shooter. And he, you know, called some people in the community together and said, who's the killer? You know, because word was out. You know, they knew, people within the neighborhood knew who it was. And when they told him, he said, we got to turn this guy over. He needs to be arrested. And I don't know. I just wanted to point that out. Like, what do you guys think of that? Does that surprise you that someone that was in the mob, you know, turn someone over to the police, so to speak? Like, just curious to know your guys' thoughts on that. But this guy's still, you know, claiming he's innocent. 32 and a third years to life. There was another guy named Keith Mondello who, you know, was arrested and convicted, but he was not convicted of the murder. He was convicted of lesser, you know, charges. And, you know, it sparked a lot of outrage. People were upset by that. But he was given 5 1/3 to 16. That's really, you know, I said 2 people were hit with real time. Honestly, Joey Fama getting the 32 1/3 to life is really, you know, the other guy getting 5 1/3 to 16 for a murder. That's kind of light, you know, but he wasn't convicted of it. And then there was another guy that got a 2 to 8. But check this out. This is what blew my mind, right? One of the people in this documentary, his name is Pasquale Rucci. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You know what I mean? Raucci. He was charged and convicted, but convicted of lesser crimes and only got like probation and community service or something like that. You know what I mean? So that, you know, was also upset people. But what's crazy about this guy, it blew my mind when I saw this. He went on to work for Hot 97 for many years, over 25 years. And he was known, you know, in the radio industry as Paddy Duke, right? Well respected in the hip hop radio scene and all that. You know, people said he was a positive, upbeat dude and all that. And getting shout outs from everyone. He was one of the people, like I said, charged and convicted of this. And he went on to work, you know, in a hip hop radio station, you know, a part of black culture, and was beloved by people. And no one knew that this guy was one of the people involved in the Yusuf Hawkins killing. Like, isn't that crazy? I couldn't believe this when I saw this. Now, he's 50 years old now. When this documentary came out and people saw this, you know, they were enraged, and he was fired, you know, and a lot of people at Hot 97 and within the hip hop community were shocked because they really liked this guy, care for this guy, and they couldn't believe it, you know. They felt, I don't know if I want to say betrayed, but, you know, they were not happy about this. But isn't that crazy that this guy, all those years, worked for Hot 97? And, you know, what's nuts, too, is he ended up, like I said, he's 50 years old now. He worked in the radio, you know, Hot 97 for over 25 years. He got hired when he was 19 in 93. The killing happened in 89. He was convicted in 91. And like I said, he was convicted of lesser charges also, rioting, illegal imprisonment, and a weapons charge for having a bat. You know, he was part of the racist mob that killed Yusuf Hawkins. And, you know, 2 years after him being convicted, he got hired for Hot 97. And it's just kind of crazy to me. I really got to wonder, Hot 97 put out a statement and everything when they fired this guy and claimed that no one ever knew. And they went on to say that they never knew, his real name, that Paddy Duke, known as Paddy Duke in Hot 97 in hip hop radio, was really Pasquale Rucci. It's like, I don't understand that because, for one, I mean, did they not do background checks? For two, how can you say you don't know someone's real name? Like, their real name is on the paychecks, you know what I mean? And this was a high profile case. This was all over the news. Like, it's just crazy that this happened. This blew my mind, you know what I mean? And you'll see some of the tweets on the screen from old man Ebro, Peter Rosenberg speaking about this, that they knew this dude well, and had love for him, you know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. Like, what do you guys think about that? Do you buy that no one ever knew that this was this guy? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just so crazy. Someone involved in a racist murder that was a high profile case ended up going on to work in hip hop radio for many, many years. And no one never really knew who this guy was. That's just insane to me. You know what I mean? Get up in the comments and let me know your guys' thoughts on this. But, something else I wanted to speak on. Oh, and listen to this too. When the documentary aired and people recognized him and figured out who he was, because, he is in the documentary and all that, was 31 years to the day of the killing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just got crazy. You know what I mean? Like, just that it happened to be the same day as the killing all those years later, that his spot, was blown up and people found out who he really was. Like, that's just wild to me, you know what I mean? But like I said, join the discussion in the comments. Do you believe that no one ever really knew this? Like, let me know your thoughts. But one more thing I want to go over about this documentary in this case. As I stated, Al Sharpton was involved heavily in this case, as well as Minister Farrakhan. But Al Sharpton ended up being stabbed by a Bensonhurst man. And the man got convicted of stabbing him and was given a little over 5 years, I believe. And check this out. Al Sharpton actually went to court at this man's sentencing and argued for the judge to give him a lesser bid, to have leniency on him for his own attacker, for the man that stabbed him. And, he stated the reason why he wanted him to have leniency and everything was because the media coverage and everything that was going on was creating more racial tension, and he just wanted the court to have mercy on him. Like, what do you guys think about that? A lot of times, and I'm not, talking about everything Al Sharpton's ever done, although I don't have anything bad to say about Al Sharpton or anything like that, but I just know Al Sharpton's character is attacked a lot. You know what I mean? And for him to go to court and argue against someone who stabbed him, I don't know, like, that shows some character, like, or does it? I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about that? I know a couple people will probably hop in the comments and talk about how Al Sharpton, was arrested in, I believe, like a drug case or something like that. But, I just thought that was worth pointing out, that Al Sharpton tried to get the man that stabbed him a lighter bit in prison. But I don't know, man. I just wanted to talk about this. I just happened to catch this documentary, you know what I mean? And, I wanted to make a video, but then I was shocked to find out in my further research about the situation with Paddy Duke, a.k.a. Pasquale Rucci, however you say his name, you know what I mean? Being a Hot 97 employee all those years, like, hiding his identity. You'll see him. There's pictures of him popping up on the screen, him with Angie Martinez. And, I don't know. It's just wild, man. No one ever knew that about this guy. So get up in the comments. Let's talk about this. Thanks for watching, you guys. Any new viewers out there, like I said, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that notification bell. Daily content. We, cover a lot of different topics on the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.